This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. News is also brought to you by Desert View Hospital. You can count on us.
Welcome to News 25 here on KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Today is Wednesday, February 22nd. Well, one person has been arrested and facing murder charges and attempted murder charges after allegedly killing a father and shooting his son at a home on Basin Avenue. 26-year-old Moses Jacob Hoodie has been arrested after he reportedly barricaded himself inside a trailer on East Basin Avenue last night. The Nye County Sheriff's Office says that Hoodie murdered a 69-year-old man and shot another 41-year-old man in the leg before the SWAT team captured him inside a home located near Powerline Road and Basin Avenue. What spurred the shooting is unclear at this time and is under investigation by the Nye County Sheriff's Office. NCSO says that they received a call to dispatch around 7:30 p.m. last night reporting that several gunshots had been heard from the 2000 block of Basin Avenue. When deputies arrived in the area, they located a 41-year-old victim who had sustained a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to a lower extremity before fleeing the residence. News 25 spoke to Sheriff Joe McGill on scene immediately after they captured the suspect at the residence.
The individual said that he had been shot by another individual in a single-wide manufactured home just east of this location. The original caller also stated that there was another subject inside the residence who originally was stated to be deceased at that time. As patrol deputies arrived, they heard some gunshots come from the residence. They were able to make contact with an individual inside the residence who identified himself somewhat, and they held a conversation with that individual. Based on the circumstances, we called SWAT, and SWAT made the approach, called the subject out of the house. He complied. He was taken into custody. SWAT officers then made entry into the premises and located one deceased individual inside the home.
During the following investigation, detectives determined that 26-year-old Moses Jacob Hoodie had been firing several gunshots inside the home. Hoodie had killed the victim, identified as 69-year-old Kenneth Bent, and injured 41-year-old Shallon Bent, who is Kenneth's son. Shallon Bent was shot in the leg and is expected to survive his injuries. Hoodie was arrested on scene after SWAT team members negotiated with him to exit the home. They transported the suspect to the Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention Center. Hoodie is facing charges of open murder, attempted murder, and battery with a deadly weapon. Anyone with additional information related to this investigation is asked to contact the Nye County Sheriff's Office at 775-751-7000. You can even email sheriff@co.nye.nv.us. You can remain anonymous. And 2 vehicles were spared and 2 cats were rescued from a structure fire that caused havoc for firefighters during high winds on Tuesday night. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were dispatched to a report of a structure fire late last night on West Donner Street. The fire was reportedly inside the kitchen area of this manufactured home. Upon arrival, firefighters found that high winds were causing fire suppression efforts difficult to contain the blaze. Winds were in excess of 40 to 50 miles per hour. Fire Chief Scott Lewis eventually was able to contain the blaze and also able to rescue several animals from this structure. No injuries have been reported at this time. There was major damage to the home. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue is investigating the cause of this fire. And thankfully, only minor injuries reported as a result of a 2-vehicle crash today on the highway. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and auxiliary units were dispatched to a 2-vehicle crash on Highway 372 this morning. Medics evaluated one occupant on scene who was complaining of head and neck injuries. That person declined to be medically transported from the scene. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies are investigating the cause of this crash. Both vehicles sustained minor to moderate damage. Traffic was diverted around the crash site during the investigation and cleanup. And Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies say that they determined that a female who originally stated that she was assaulted by her boyfriend is actually the aggressor.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office are reporting that they have arrested an individual by the name of Lexus Genovese on one count of domestic battery by strangulation and one count of child abuse or neglect. On February 20th of this year, deputies were dispatched in reference to a domestic battery. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with Lexus, who was reporting she was involved in a physical altercation with a male while driving in a vehicle. According to the report, Lexus was in the rear left passenger seat and an infant was in the center car seat. They were driving on Bella Vista when her ex-boyfriend sent her a text message that came through the vehicle's Bluetooth. Lexus stated that the male heard this and allegedly became upset, pulled off the roadway, and began punching her. Lexus stated that she did not know how many times she was struck because she lost consciousness. When she regained consciousness, she told the male to take her home. At this point, Lexus jumped out of the vehicle in the area of Bella Vista and Leslie and proceeded to run to her friend's residence. The deputy observed Lexus to have a large amount of blood on her person that was determined to be from an injury to her nose. The deputy then made contact with the male, who had swollen red marks on his neck. According to the report, the male was driving home with Lexus when she told him to stop so she could use the bathroom. The male stated he told her to wait till they got home. Then Lexus allegedly attacked him by punching him in the right side of his head and then grabbed his chain and began to choke him. He stated that she pulled on it and released it a couple of times and was unable to breathe for around 10 seconds and pulled the car off to the side of the roadway. He stated that he backhanded Lexus to get her to stop choking him, causing her nose to bleed. Based on the statements, the officer determined that Lexus Genovese was the primary physical aggressor. Lexus was arrested and transported to the Nye County Detention Center, where she was booked accordingly.
The Death Valley National Park is taking public input on a replacement project.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of the news is brought to you by John Air. For all your heating and air conditioning needs, call 775-751-2372.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, the National Park Service is seeking public input on the proposed replacement of Salt Creek Boardwalk Trail in Death Valley National Park by March 25th of this year. The National Park Service is planning this project in partnership with the Federal Highway Administration. Salt Creek provides the only habitat in the world for the Salt Creek pupfish, which is a species of high concern in the state of California. Since 1976, a half-mile raised wooden boardwalk has provided visitors easy access to view the pupfish and the desert creek. A historic flash flood on August 5th of 2022 destroyed the boardwalk and carried pieces of it over a mile into designated wilderness. The flood damaged the unpaved access road, obliterated the parking area, and damaged the vault toilet beyond repair. The flood even changed the Salt Creek itself, and stream beds shifted and carved several feet downward. The National Park Service proposed to replace the accessible boardwalk, interpretive signs, and repair the access road, parking lot, and toilet to maintain opportunities to view the endemic Salt Creek pupfish while simultaneously protecting the fish and its fragile habitat. The park proposed to remove damaged infrastructure debris, some of which is now in wilderness. The National Park Service has funding for the project from the federal sources and a donation from the Death Valley National History Association. The replacement boardwalk cannot be reconstructed in the previous alignment because the flood changed the terrain. Therefore, the National Park Service is studying new potential boardwalk alignments adjacent to and crossing the creek. The National Park Service is asking for the public input on the proposed action and potential alternatives, environmental issues that should be addressed, and considerations regarding the visitor experience. The Park Service will use the feedback when starting the design process in April. Public comments should be entered into the planning environment and public comment system online at parkplanning.mps.gov/Diva Salt Creek 1 by March 25th. Comments can also be mailed to Death Valley National Park, attention Salt Creek Boardwalk. And you can also send that to their P.O. Box 579, Death Valley, California 92328. You have to have it postmarked by March 25th. If you missed any of that, we have it all posted on our KPVM Facebook page as of yesterday. And the Clark County Museum, located at 1830 South Boulder Highway, just off of Highway 95, will open a new temporary exhibit, Preparing for Doomsday in the Desert, Civil Defense in Southern Nevada. The exhibit will show from March 3rd through June 5th. A free opening reception will be offered on March 3rd from 6 until 8 p.m. You can take a journey back in time to discover how civil defense preparedness was an integral part of life during the height of the Cold War, while local, state, federal, and agencies attempted to prepare Southern Nevadans for the possibility of nuclear war. Experience what it felt like to live under the looming threat of nuclear attack and understand why this type of defense was essential. The exhibition features a mock-up of the Clark County Defense Agency's Command Center bunker at Arden. Visitors will also see emergency supplies, equipment, and films from when Soviets and Americans stood eyeball to eyeball, and instant destruction lay only on a push of a button away. The Clark County Museum is an indoor exhibit gallery which features displays about Southern Nevada history from prehistoric to modern times. The outdoor Heritage Street area is open for self-guided tours. It contains a collection of about 24 historic buildings, including a wedding chapel, print shop, railroad cottage, and several homes. Museum hours are from 9 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. 7 days a week. Admission is only $1 for children and $2 for adults. The phone number, 702-455-7955. Those wanting more information can visit clarkcountymv.gov/museum. You can also find them on their Facebook page. News 25 will return with your health report.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, coughing and shortness of breath are enough to put anyone on high alert for COVID-19 these days. However, these symptoms are common in people with exercise-induced asthma, which can make breathing uncomfortable and difficult. But Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Sandra Hong says there's typically a pattern with this type of asthma.
Very frequently, when you have an athlete and it's exercise-induced asthma, you'll only notice the symptoms when they're actually doing their sports. It typically will come on within 5 minutes, but people can have it at any point in time with their exercise. And as they stop exercising, their symptoms should get better.
Dr. Hong says people with exercise-induced asthma often experience coughing, wheezing, and chest pain or tightness 5 to 10 minutes into a workout. She says people tend to describe the feeling like they're trying to breathe through a straw. Symptoms typically resolve once an athlete settles down, within about 60 minutes. However, if worrisome breathing problems persist after exercise, she recommends seeking emergency care.
If they're continuing to have chest pain or continuing to be short of breath, that should be evaluated. If they recover and they're feeling better, I still would ask them to see their primary care physician or an allergist or a pulmonologist. The reasons for that are for it to be evaluated.
And Dr. Hong says asthma-related symptoms are usually treated with medications that can get people back to peak performance. A playful pup named Patches is available for adoption at Never Forgotten Animals Society. Pat Lemming shows us this beautiful dog.
Today's Save a Pet segment is made possible by Realty Executives in Action. Put the team at Realty Executives in action for you.
Hi everyone, this is Pat with Never Forgotten Animal Society, and in just a moment we're going to introduce you to Patches. He is a puppy. He's approximately 25 weeks old. He has been neutered, has had all of his shots. He is pretty much a brown and white pit bull mix, and he is the sweetest man. He just wants to be your best buddy. He does need someone that's had some experience with puppies because he needs to have some training. But other than that, he wants to be with you, wants to be involved with you, he wants to run with you, he wants to play with you, he likes to fetch. He is just one very, very energetic young man. And I hope you enjoy him. His name is Patches, and again, he's available here at Never Forgotten Animal Society at 3091 North David, just off of Bella Vista between Blag and Leslie. Our phone number is 775-537-8674. We open Monday through Saturday from 10 until 5 every day. No appointments are necessary, so please come on in.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Well, wild weather today was an understatement. We're looking at the west side of town from this morning, and we're going to find out what's in store with our weather right after this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios and worldwide on that local BTV app. You should get that app. It's really good. Fernley, 34 degrees today. Burr, 35 out in Fallon. Carson City saw just 30, and Tonopah, our cool spot, 29 degrees. Boy, Carson City, Tonopah, Goldfield, none of you get out of the freezer box today. 31 degrees out in Goldfield. Beatty saw 43. That's pretty good. Amargosa at 49 was our hot spot. But still, freezing temperatures tonight at 31. Also 31 in Vegas tonight as we head on into the day. 47 was their high. 59 out in Death Valley. And here in the paradise of Pahrump, let's take a look. It's 44 degrees. How about that? Magically, it's our high today, 44 also. So we've achieved it. We're doing it right now. 6:23 a.m. The sun rose this morning in all its glory, hope, and promise. Setting this evening in about 3 minutes, 5:32. Look for it. Beautiful, partly cloudy skies make some beautiful colors. So it'll be a show for the next 20 minutes. A low tonight of 32 degrees is where we're heading, and the winds out of the southeast continue to 15 miles per hour at 48% humidity. Boy, that cold is really driving, and it continues. Look, it gets worse. 22, 25 mile per hour winds the next couple of days. Those are the average temperatures. We're going to see a chance of rain next couple of days, little sprinkles and whatnot until about Saturday. It comes with a vengeance. I guess there's a 1% chance you may stay dry, but yeah, pretty much everybody's going to get wet. Winds driving sideways at 17, 18 miles per hour for Saturday and Sunday, although the rain seems to abate on Sunday. Monday, we get a little break. Monday actually looks like a pretty fine day, 51 degrees. Winds calm, and then the rains return Tuesday, Wednesday. Not so good, but you know, things to plan around, I guess. Back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
Everybody be safe out there. Good night.